In this video, we're going to finish the on-site treasure hunting at the Carl Stone collection, including one of the rarest things I've ever seen from Commodore.
Today I thought we'd start at the entrance so we can make some room to get in and out of here. And there is an Amiga 1000 with a 1010 drive and an external drive, which is interesting. Also, it seems to have a tank mouse with it. So 1010, just like I got at home. That is an aftermarket with a disc of some kind in it. Tank mouse is a bit yellowed. An Amiga 1000, still connected up. We'll get those cables loose. And this is an active work site, so you're just going to have to forgive any noises because there's going to be engines running and all kinds of stuff going on here. So it looks like the keyboard got some pretty uneven light. Very yellow in the front, much better in the back. And this, oh, interesting. That looks like backup number 25. I'm guessing that's for a Apple II. Cool. I know I'm probably not going to have time to open everything as I go. So here we have a Practical Peripherals modem. Rushing through this at the moment just because I need to make some space so we can get in and out of here. That has been a real problem. So let's see what's in the box. Discs, all discs. 5 1/4 inch discs. Literally GeoWorks Pro, so some of those are original discs and not just copies. Holy Toledo. I got my work cut out for me. A lot of these discs are just numbered, nothing saying what's in them. So, there is discs. Bottom's garage sale, Commodore programs and discs. And it looks like in the box, maybe Commodore programs and discs. So, this is a box for later. A little something here that kind of caught my eye, so I thought I'd take a look and see what it is. So, oh man, I think it's an old typewriter. Like an old electric typewriter. Oh, cool. That, my friends, is a Commodore B128-80. How neat is that? I have not seen one of those in real life before. So let's see what's in here. Aha, looks like assorted software. WordWriter 128. This stuff has gotten a bit damp. It's a little musty. I haven't had a lot of that in here. But there's a 1351 utility disc, the manual, and a mouse. So it's moldy though. So hopefully that disc has survived, or there's another one around here. I think I'm gonna move all this stuff into a different box. I don't wanna move the mold. Compute's first book of Commodore 64 games. I recently downloaded that off of archive.org. Merlin User's Manual. Now that looks very interesting. We'll have to check into that and see exactly what that's about. 1541 User's Guide. Commodore 128 Assembly Language Programming. All right, so all of this stuff's going into one of my bins. This is just too musty to take home. One item that really caught my eye when I came in here went straight to this. One of the first things I saw in this room. And that was this Programming the 6502 by Rodney Zacks. So this was my go-to 6502 assembly language book back in the day. Another thing I see here that's kind of neat, there's a lot of Compute books. So Compute was a magazine, and a lot of their books were compilations from the magazine of articles on a particular subject. Some of them were just more like reference guides, but I recognize the color of this cover, Machine Language Routines for the Commodore 64. Yep, I had that back in the day, and I think I have it. It looks very familiar. I think this is one of the ones I downloaded to use as PDFs. Another item I'm trying to get to is this Commodore 128 here. And these drives were also in the pile that collapsed. And in the bottom of the pile that collapsed, there was this box of black brick of deaths. It's like, it's clear that Carl had a real appreciation for the Commodore 128. And that machine was the last of the 8-bit machines from Commodore. It was a fascinating machine. I had one in Germany for a while. I had it before I got my Amiga. So I was programming on it in assembly language. It was really nice because I could program to the 64K that the 64 would use, but I could use 80 column in 128 mode to write my code. So, and indeed, there is a machine in the box. All right. We do have a problem with the cords being mildewy and damaging the top of the case. There is a mouse. Model 1351, of course. I think we're going to take this one for a sooner than later restoration. Bob's Burger Express. I worked there. It was one of my first jobs, was working at a Bob's Burgers in Corvallis. But that's not really of interest to you guys. However, that is, at first glance you might think it's an Amiga mouse, but it's the 1351 mouse for a Commodore 64 or a Commodore 128, which is nifty. I don't think I ever owned one of these. I might have with the 128 when I was in Germany. But it's pretty light, so let's see if there's anything in there. Oh, yep, there is indeed a mouse. So, cool. Saw this, looked interesting. Let's see what it is. Bat. Oh, it's Ubisoft. A role-playing adventure. I don't remember that game. I am going to have to take that back to the shop and check it out. I was just taking a look at what's around here, and I found that. And there, I expected to find like workbench and extras and stuff, but instead, symbolic debugger, Amiga C, and the assembler. That could come in very useful, especially if I decide to get from the 64 and move on to the Amiga for programming. So those are some of the best games in the room, I think. I'm hoping there's a Bard's Tale over there. I can't read it from here, but you probably can. And then here we got the SSI Dungeons and Dragons games, Might and Magic, Temple of Apshai. Lots of cool stuff down there.
Next, it was time to get some of the more precarious items down to prevent an inadvertent collapse as we work. After that, it was time to call it a day, so I packed up a carload and headed home.
Okay, so I'm going to do a test here. We're going to pull a bunch of this software off. And don't worry, we'll do an unboxing later. But it's going to be a really big box if things go the way I hope. All right, so let's see how much fits in one box. A box of Commodore goodness. There's a full bin. That used up that much space. There's that much left. So I'm just taking a look at what's in this filing cabinet before we pull everything out and put it into boxes. Skate Wars, oh boy. And a bunch of discs. And then in the next drawer, It's all discs all the way. And the next drawer. Hey, look, Ma, all the discs. Finally, I can't get into the bottom drawer very much because there's a monitor in the way, but I got it open that far. So I like what I see. All 1351s there, not Amiga. More machines. Yep, 1764s. Sorry if I sound a little muffled, but I'm wearing a mask for this one, people. You're gonna love this. So I just pulled 3 boxes out of here. So you got what looks like a bit crusty Commodore 64 in the box. And when I grab the box, yeah, it's beyond crusty. The box is shot. The other ones, the box literally just came up in my hand and left the 64 sitting on the floor. But you can see why I'd want to wear a mask for that, huh? But there's a 64. And according to the note, it's dead, Jim. Media Services, Spring Creek Elementary, 1991. Garbage on screen. And so Carl worked at the school district, and so clearly he got a lot of his machines from there. And I have found a lot of the machines are actually engraved with school names on the face. So sadly, we have 4 boxes that are just beyond saving. Just looking out under here at what's underneath here, and actually gives me a look because I can't get back in there very well. Boxing up the stuff in the Amiga corner, because Amiga. Let's see what we got here. Well, there's 2 copies of Bat from Ubisoft. Tunnels of Armageddon. Ah, Lemmings from Psygnosis. Awesome game. Woohoo! Oh no! All right. Amiga TexCraft Plus. Oh, so much randomness. Oh, cool, fish discs. Fred Fish was a guy who made public domain discs. He made over 1,000 discs of public domain software, and you could download them off of BBSs or you could order them from him. And it's just, that's how freeware and shareware and stuff got distributed before the internet, was Fred Fish on the Amiga. 4-game construction set, Speedball, Road Wars. Is this the one I'm thinking of? And Psygnosis, Leander. I've heard of this, and I think it's, oh, that's one of their awesome. Psygnosis had such great platformers. And the discs are in here, so I look forward to this. That's a classic game I never actually played. That can go in there, because I need one of those. That's a CD caddy from the old CD drives where they didn't just take a disc, you put the disc in a caddy and then put it in. So the Amigas I've been working on are video toaster Amigas, as you know, and I actually have the original real video toaster tape sitting in my shop, but here somebody made a copy of it, which is fine because it was advertising. All right, looks like there's more down here. Let's see what this is. Alice in Wonderland for the Amiga. Bradicus. There is no disc in the sleeve, so hopefully it'll turn up somewhere. Mega Fortress Flight Manual. Amiga Informer Magazine. Scribble Printmaster Plus. Oh, and Draw Plus from Aegis. That's a classic old package. Hey, look at that. That's an old Super Manual. I'd know it from anywhere. Super Drive for the Amiga. I had a friend that worked there, so I have a lot of Super products, or I did back in the day. I'm looking to replace some of them now. I mentioned Carl had an affinity for the Commodore 128, and I mean, he loved these things. So up here, this is all labeled parts, so I'm guessing these are parts machines. But if Carl decided they were parts machines, I'm sure he'll forgive me if I decide I'm going to restore them. Lots of damaged keys, so unless this says keyboard parts. All right, a little jinky up here. Yerk.
No, literal parts.
That can go with the keyboard parts. He may be calling it a parts drive, but I'm going to try to fix it. So that can go in one of the boxes of computers. 1541 parts, which is the disk drives. Part 64C, I guess. I can't tell you how pleasantly surprised I am how little mouse signs I'm seeing here. Just
Unknown.
boards, those all 64 boards, bottom cases. So exactly what it says on the box. He was a very organized person, wasn't he?
Yeah.
There's not parts. Take a look at what's up in here. Let's see what's in here. The big reveal. Holy Toledo.
We spent the better part of the next hour boxing software. Feel free to pause and peek at what's here. You'll probably end up knowing what I have better than I do. So a quick note for the people who've been contacting me about sales. I have no intention to sell any of this stuff non-restored. Eventually some of it will have to move on, but I haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet. So just watch the YouTube channel and Twitter and I will let you know when I make a decision, but I won't be responding to any more emails, direct messages, Facebook messages, Twitter messages. Oh my God. I should have said this in the first video. Yeah, well, I didn't. At the end of the day, I hauled home the customary carful. I was so excited to find, within an hour of each other, both Telengard, the game that inspired the game I was working on back in the day, and Hessmon, the monitor cartridge I was using to make it. Yes, I said monitor cartridge, not assembler, because young me was an idiot. The next day, we really had to get packing. Literally. Time was running out, but there's still time to take a look at some particularly interesting bits.
So going through here, working our way across. And first I thought this was another 128D. I think it's another Amiga 1000. So, and one that's not completely full of ants. So I think we're gonna see about pulling that out of there. And of course I had a box for this disk drive, but I took it home thinking there weren't any more here. Hasta la vista. All right, and then another thing I found interesting here. There's an old PC. It is a Sun Moon Star, not something I've ever heard of, quite yellow. Actually, the label I was more interested in was this one. So, and then attached to it is this. So I don't know if I actually want to deal with trying to use ancient stuff for GAL and EEPROM burning, but I don't have a modern solution. It's actually on my wish list for Amazon at the moment, but I've never gotten around to it. Keyboard. A typical old IBM keyboard. Kind of squishy feeling keys. That's a Model RT101 High-Tech Corporation. So, not a Model M, but it'll do the job. Digging through here, kind of trying to hurry so I wasn't filming. But I opened a drawer and decided I needed to do a quick video of its contents. It's kind of the chips I was looking for. I actually reached in here and picked up a block of foam, and that's the foam there. And literally all the chips fell on the floor because the foam is just totally crumbled. So there's ICs, bags. It's really hard to read. And I swear that says 486. C64, 64. Hopefully the foam hasn't eaten away the pins on the chips. I'm looking at this one. It's a 6526R4. I can't remember off the top of my head what that is. I'm embarrassed. But anyway, I can sell it on eBay as tests good, because as you can see, it tested good in October of 1996. It must still be good, right? There's another block of foam, and I can feel that it's completely as crumbly. 901-227. God, that sounds... SATA 1541 ROM? I'm trying to remember. 74 LS 244s and 74 HC 138s. So, if I remember right, 244s aren't those bus transceivers? So anyway, and then here's a genuine retro chip pulling kit. So, not exactly a bonanza, but it's a good selection of chips. As soon as I get my Retro Chip Tester Pro put together, just have a few hundred parts to solder onto it, then maybe we can start testing these. So pay no attention to the noises behind me, because work must continue. But I finally got back into the corner here to see what's in these drawers. And first thing I noticed right on top, looks like some MOVs or varistors. So a lot of oddball boards that are just going to have to be researched later, at a later date when there is time, because I have no idea what half of this stuff is. So if I have something here that I haven't figured out what it is and you know what it is, feel free to post in the comments. Just a whole bunch of breadboards. All right, next. That's a thing with some stuff. Yeah, I know I'm rushing through this, but we have very limited time. Got to get everything packed and out of here. So I don't know what this card is. I mean, it's not a bunch of bodges on the back. Looks like late 70s, early 80s. Terminal logic. Couple more miscellany type boards. Don't know what they are. 4ZB and 4ZB. Not sure exactly what that is, but it looks like it's got an IEC connector maybe. Looking through the camera. I'm gonna guess it's some kind of an EEPROM burner. Probably for the 64. Exactly. Oh, hey. Got a Jiffy DOS manual, and we got a 1541 and a 64. So that is a full Jiffy DOS kit to set up on a system. That would be handy. It seems like Carl really liked Jiffy DOS, and there are, I mean, so many of these machines have what look like a Jiffy DOS switch on them. So we'll find out when we get in there, but there's a lot of that going on. And I'm gonna guess these are all the same little pink packages with nothing in them. So I'm gonna guess these are the packages that Jiffy DOS originally came in. probably shown this on the channel already, but I've been finding these everywhere, and I think it's some kind of a Commodore 128 diagnostic tool. Oh, hey, look. Free discs. All right. Belts, and if these are the fabric type, they might still be good. All right. And then here, a couple more of those. So, like I said, I've been finding these all over the place, and I found a stack. I haven't read them yet, but I found a stack of manuals. I was thinking maybe it was a product that Carl was making, but the manuals, when I found one, say somewhere in Colorado. You guys ever live in Colorado? Yeah, so I don't know why he has probably a dozen or more of these things around here, but he does. No, this may not be retro stuff. This may be stuff for the family. I kind of like finding stuff for the family, though.
Time was getting really tight at this point. Another load was hauled home, but I did not have time to catalog it all. Now, of course, in future videos, you're going to see restorations of most of these items. Hopefully all of them. The Amiga 1000 turned out to have a Genlock and sidecar with it, which thrilled me to no end. Then, well into moving day, I struck pay dirt.
Okay, so back in this corner, I was just kind of had given up on finding any ICs. And back in this corner, I just see the ends of these things sticking out. And it's like these look like all EEPROMs, and they weigh like all EEPROMs. These are all listed as maybe bad. So we'll put the Retro Chip Tester Pro together and then put it to work.
Yeah, that helps.
More sockets. These are listed as good. 6522s. There's also a bag. So when I get these back to the shop, we'll go through them and see what we have and see what we don't have.
Now we just had time to get things loaded. No more tiny sedan loads. It was time for the big guns. Still, we ended up working 12 hours in 95-degree heat, so please forgive the lack of footage on the last load. Suffice it to say that the truck and trailer, along with my car, required 2 full loads to move the rest. The second trailer full was just packed with monitors.
Alright, loading them up and moving them out. And we're starting to get a semblance of space in here.
If you like this video, check out this one where I got my first look at this collection, and here's another video you might like.